Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on inside to another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. Roll Gang, guess what? It's Friday! We've made it to the last day of this week of Weekday Wake and Bakes, and we have done the whole Motivational Monday, a Terpene Tuesday education segment, the midweek mailbag. We hit the Cannabis News Thursday episode yesterday, and we have reached Friday. I am your host this morning and every weekday morning, Processor Sky, here at 8 a.m. Pacific time, like every single weekday, for another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, where we have awoke, so now we smoke, as per stoner law. So this weekday morning, I have some vanilla frosting to blaze up with you guys. I hope you guys have some fuego to smoke up this morning too, because we have a very special episode of the show this morning. It is officially 6 months and 5 days since the pilot episode of the show, and I thought, what a better day than to give the shout out episode. So to this point, to date, Roll Gang, I am extremely humbled to say we have had 25 amazing guests come on the show to smoke up with the Roll Gang and chop it up about some cannabis industry content. And I mean, these professionals, this list is bounding. So I wanted to dedicate this episode to everybody that's rolled through the show and everybody that will roll through the show in the future, because we are going to keep jam-packing this thing. So I'm sure a lot of you guys noticed, this is the first ever full week of the Weekday Wake and Bake without a guest. So I did the whole entire week from Spoon House. Didn't have any guests because it really just mentally helped me buckle down and realize that this is something that I have to organize and that I have to learn the flow of how to do the show myself if we're going to be able to sustain this thing for the future. And definitely super hype about all the industry professionals that will come on the show. Have a whole bunch of new ones, a whole bunch of returning guests that I'd love to come back on, but at the end of the day, the one consistent of the show is your processor. So trying to figure this out. Really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me during this learning process. Whole Roll Gang running deep. Really appreciate everybody tapping in on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are all the shit, so I just appreciate hopping on here every morning in session with you guys and talking about some cannabis content. So before I get on into the shout-outs of today's episode, the 25 shout-outs, I have to give the first 2 shout-outs of the show to the 2 sponsors of the show. First and foremost, Oaksterdam University, the alma mater of your processor, where I learned everything I basically know about cannabis other than smoking it. We got to do cannabis labs. We got to learn how to grow and how to conduct business. I mean, my alma mater, Oaksterdam University, is the predominant place to learn about cannabis. So claim your stake in this amazing industry, up your mental game, learn some new stuff, and study at Oaksterdam University for your cannabis education. Use promo code Rolling Spoon when you're paying for your tuition at Oaksterdam, and you get a 10% scholarship from your boy and your Roll Gang. Really appreciate Oaksterdam University for teaching me all that I know. And also, major shout out to the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. Guys, this right here is a delicacy. This is a valuable herb, and we can't pinch it. You have to scoop it, you have to delicately place it, and you need a tool to help you do so. So the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, helping you to roll a dime every time or pack your bowl without pinching your herb. Because you can just pack your bowl, you can scoop it into your bowl piece and then pack it down with the other side. The non-stick PP plastic will make sure that all of your medicine gets smoked and not left on your fingers. So huge shout out to the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. But anyways, this whole episode is jam-packed with shout outs. I'm going to go in chronological order from the first guest on the show to the very latest, and just give a shout out to each individual, because every single person that's been on this show I'm so humbled that they've come on, and they need individual recognition and appreciation for rolling through the show, because we've had some serious personalities here in this seat with me for the Weekday Wake and Bake, and we're only at 6 months, episode 130. I can only imagine where this list will be after a year, after the full 12 months. So the pilot of the show was February 1st, 2022. 6 months from August 1st. Me and Roll Gang Rach came up with an awesome idea to pop on all of the live platforms and have a sesh with the Roll Gang every morning. And the first time that we ever got to sesh with you guys, just Weekday Wake and Bake style, was on February 1st. Huge shout out Roll Gang Rach for helping start the show, helping come up with the idea and kickstarting all this shit off. And the next guest of the show was Jodeci, the Honey with the Honey. Major shout out Jodeci Gonzalez, one of the OGs of the show. Really great personality. Miss you, Jodeci. Miss you lots. I hope you're doing well. Honey with the Honey. Major shout out. So we had an unbelievable world-class brand ambassador come on this show, Stony Sony. I really hope we get Allison from Fumer, but really she's a cannabis marketer now. Stony Sony, an influencer / brand ambassador, real true industry professional. Huge shout out Stony Sony, Allison, for coming on the show back when it was young. The very next guest was the first time Ariana Janae came on the show. One of the fan favorite guests of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I'm pretty sure Ari and I have done 4 or 5 episodes to this point. She is a complete superstar. Like, one of the most famous individuals to ever come on the show. Renowned model, entrepreneur, influencer. Huge shout out Ariana Janae. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, she really has a great lifestyle content on her Instagram. After Ariana Janae came our good friend of the show, Ty Hudson. Major shout out to Ty. Getting High with Ty and Sky. You know, that episode was legendary. But Ty came on for her first episode. Was the first episode I actually wasn't a part of. It was Ty and Roll Gang Rach running the ship. What a legendary episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. So the other side of that coin, the OG Sky the Stoner. Huge shout out Sky the Stoner popping on the show. she's one of my favorite personalities in the entire city of Vegas. Energy for days from Sky the Stoner. Really need to get Sky back on the show at some point. She is one of the OGs, no doubt. No doubt. I think the creator, so Sky is a professional content creator, cannabis industry pro, bud tender, but I think she is responsible for making the most addictive spoon video yet. If you haven't seen Sky the Stoner's spoon reel that she posted on Instagram, it is the best video of the rolling spoon. Make sure you see that video because it is elite. The very next guest on the show was Jordan Carone. My guy Jordan J. Jumpman, he was working for New Leaf, and he did this whole New Leaf Juicy merger, and now he's the accounts guy. He's the guy with the accounts at Juicy Holdings, one of the biggest cannabis companies in the country. It was such an honor to have Jordan come on the show a couple of times. I think he's going to be rolling through again here soon. I have been chopping it up with Jordan for a long time. Great friend and great friend of the show. Major shout out, Jordan. Really appreciate you coming through. Damn, so this list is absolutely deep, Roll Gang. So fucking humbled to have had so many elite guests on this special show, on this special project, the Weekday Wake and Bake. The next unbelievable one is the new director of sales at Flower One, Darlene Mason, aka Weed Witch. I mean, we've got to see the ascension of an industry great in this one. Darlene came on the show working with an amazing Roots Harvest. I mean, awesome company, but she's just been climbing the ladder and moving up. Huge shout out, Darlene, the queen of Motivational Monday and motivational quotes. Darlene Weed Witch Mason. So the very next guest that came on the show is an extremely special one. Following Darlene's first time is one of the most regular guests on the show, our professional horticulturist, the passionate, incredible Grow Joe. We've got Quality Vegas Bud Joe, one of the greatest grow minds in the Las Vegas district, coming on the show with pretty semi-regularity. You guys are absolutely spoiled with the presence of Grow Joe. Huge shout out, Quality Vegas Bud Joe, where the proof is in the puff, Roll Gang. I love the Wake and Bakes where I get to smoke some of QVB Joe's herb, homegrown herb, some of the cleanest shit I ever smoked. It is absolutely awesome every time we get to have him on the show. So the next guest, following Joe's first time, was the legendary Cannabis Rocky. Rocky Hernandez, the co-host, co-creator of the High Bud Tenders podcast. One of the industry's absolute finest. Guys, this one made me extremely humbled. To have Rocky Hernandez, Cannabis Rocky, come on the show. I mean, talk about clean. That episode, she just had unbelievable camera presence and confidence, swagger, the swagadocious Rocky, Cannabis Rocky, major shout out. Absolutely the one of the best podcast hosts in the entire city of Vegas, no doubt. In the entire country. So we're about halfway through these elite guest Roll Gang. So I have to give a quick shout out to Oaksterdam University, my alma mater and the official place to gain your cannabis industry. If you're looking to take home grow classes or you're trying to start a cannabis business, learn about cannabis compliance, this is a college where you can officially claim your stake. You can put something on your resume, graduated from Oaksterdam University Cannabis College, and just use Rolling Spoon. 10% off. Promo code Rolling Spoon, 10% off your tuition. Call it your Rolling Spoon Scholarship. So the next guest that came on the show after Rocky Hernandez was the beautiful Chelsea Adriana, the brand ambassador, the face of the franchise at Camp Brands here in Las Vegas, where they just do everything right, from rosin to flour and clearly to hiring the face of their brand. Chelsea is one of the greatest brand reps in the area. Absolutely impeccable energy and such a great smile and personality to be around, just emanating joyous energy all the time. Chelsea, such a blast to be around. We'll definitely be making her return on the show at some point, for sure. So the next guest that came on the show the day after Chelsea during camp week was the director of brands at camp, the president of the Chamber of Cannabis, and probably the baddest bitch in the country, Tina Queen Ullman. It was just like, it almost brought me to tears, humbling me enough to have Tina Ullman on the show. I am so just gracious to be able to call her my friend and one of my greatest role models in the history of my life. And honestly, Roll Gang, that's probably the one to go watch. I love every single one of these, 100% every one of these elite episodes. But every single guest I've ever had knows and respects Tina Ullman for her greatness and her contributions to the unbelievable cannabis industry here in Vegas. And I've heard a little bit about her dreams for the future of Vegas cannabis. Guys, hitch your fucking wagon to Tina Ullman and all of her projects. She is going up, and I mean, incredibly magic to make such shit. She's actually on the show right now. This hype is incredible. Yo, I did not know you were tapped in, Tina. So much love. You're the GOAT, you know it, and I appreciate everybody that tuned into that episode. Some serious power right there. Bad bitch energy, no doubt at all. So the very next two guests that followed Tina Ullman whenever I went to Florida, closest guests to my heart without a shadow of a doubt, my parents, Dana and Izzy Sky. So my mom came on the show and my dad came on the show, and then they did one together in Delaware. It was so awesome to do a weekday wake and bake with my parents. Like, what a legendary sesh. The most supportive and loving, caring parents. Like, I learned unconditional love from those two. And I will be able to use that power to show and recognize unconditional love for the rest of my life. You guys absolutely humble me being a part of your family and a part of your bloodline. Thank you for my existence, Dana and Izzy Sky. Followed by another industry elite, Baked Old Ladies Pearl. Talk about missions. Talk about having a great mission and a great story. Baked Old Ladies Pearl out in the community, making magic happen, just giving back to the Las Vegas community through connecting cannabis businesses. All the Baked Old Ladies events are so magical. Come through Mulaski Park with the Baked Old Ladies and chill with us. Do some good in the community. And yeah, huge shout out Baked Old Ladies Pearl for coming on the show. She was awesome. So another absolute elite followed Baked Old Ladies Pearl. I mean, I keep saying the word elite, but really everybody on this list, like, we have had 25 absolute ballers come on the show. The next one being Jarrell, the opposite side of the coin from Rocky of the High Bud Tenders podcast, co-host and co-creator of one of the greatest cannabis content projects in the history of the industry. The High Bud Tender podcast is the love child of Cannabis Rocky and Jarrell. These two create such a vibe. I just absolutely so excited to be connected with them and to have the honor of saying they both came on the Weekday Wake and Bake. Like, honestly, super incredible. Shout out Rocky and Jarrell, the High Bud Tenders podcast, the High Bud Tenders Rolling Spoon. Go hit them up and get one of your own. These High Bud Tender Rolling Spoons are awesome with the hand-drawn graphics. Pretty fucking cool. Huge shout out to the High Bud Tenders. This episode brought to you by the High Bud Tenders and the Rolling Spoon. You know how it is. The High Bud Tenders spoon helping me to roll this dime that I'm smoking while giving shout outs. Such a humbling episode. Huge shout outs to everybody popping on the Weekday Wake and Bake. Gotta give so much love to everybody who's rolled through the show. The next one, probably the most unique and unbelievable, just incredibly inspiring stories I have ever heard, let alone come on the show. Hadina Felice. So Hadina is, she's been to every state. She is an incredible source of positive energy and love. The absolute face of Nevada cannabis compliance. Really just understands the industry. Have to have Hadina come back on and really take a deep dive into cannabis compliance here in Vegas with you guys. But unbelievable episode with Hadina. And the following Hadina, Kenny from KML Art. Roll Gang, you guys probably see these custom rolling spoon rolling trays every single day, every weekday morning. And what an awesome part to have, like, every weekday morning, Kenny and her work is represented here on the show. But I had the opportunity to have Kenny roll through and actually represent her art in person. It was so amazing to be able to have a wake and bake with Kenny from KML Art. She makes awesome cannabis accessories, customized rolling trays, lighters, grinders, you name it. Hit up Kenny. She also got some rolling spoons customized. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. Sky is with the heart, the love child. Yeah, the love child. That High Bud Tenders podcast, Tina. You know it, Roll Gang. I bet every single person listening has heard the High Bud Tenders podcast. I mean, that is a love child. Rocky and Jarrell killing it. So the next guy, also close with Tina and I, a source bud tender. In fact, one of the best bud tenders in the city, beyond the shadow of a doubt. Like, no lack of recognition for this next guest, Jason of the Mojave. Guys, like, you walk into a dispensary, some people don't know what the hell they're doing. You're trying to go and get this plant product that's grown from the earth, and you're trying to learn how to medicate from it. It's so new to so many people. How refreshing to have an amazing smile, an awesome personality, and a patient individual that's just passionate about the plant to help you pick the plant medicine that you need. Huge shout out, Jason of the Mojave, the predominant Vegas bud tender. Go visit the source on Rainbow and Sahara, I believe is his store. And guys, like, look for Jason in the Mojave. He will connect you with the product you need, and you will have a good time doing it. The dude is awesome. Huge shout out, Jason, for coming on the show. I mean, just incredibly elite guest after elite guest after elite guest, 25 deep. The next one on the show, another one of the most explosive and incredible personalities I've ever met, the Hawaiian Beauty Journey. From Spark the Journey, she's Rove's brand ambassador. She has her own entrepreneurial project of incredible dab medallions, this incredible dabware. I have one upstairs. It is just beautiful artwork, but really the person behind it is one of my favorite people in the city. Journey, you're just such a positive attitude to be around. Such positive energy, and everybody loves your presence. It was such an awesome day making a Wake and Bake with you. Huge shout out, Journey, from Spark the Journey. Go get your dab medallions at Spark the Journey on Instagram. They're gorgeous, Roll Gang. You can basically wear these dabs, and it looks beautiful. Like, it's really trippy. You gotta at least go check it out at Spark the Journey. Shout out, Journey, for rolling through. The next pair of guests rolled through together to create one of the most gravitational episodes of the Weekday Wake and Bake ever. 130 episodes. This may be the most gravitational, the most raw power in the house at one time. We had Marnie Montroy and Leilani Joy Coates come on the show at one time. Two of the best female industry entrepreneurs in the country, no doubt. The baddest bitches around. If you guys know them or saw the show, then it's so apparent. These two just run shit. They both just run shit. And getting to hear about their stories and how they found pot, and they were really different stories. It was really amazing to hear the multiplicity of how they found this such amazing plant medicine. And Marnie and Leilani came on the show sitting next to me, and we just chopped it up about their businesses and their journeys into the industry. Two of the most inspirational ladies I have ever met. Huge shout out, Leilani Coates and Marnie Montroy. Rounding out the last guests, I mean, we're 21 guests into 24, and there has been no shortage of elite guests on the Weekday Wake and Bake. We're going to stack next week full of more elite guests, but wow. The next one, Janice Shania, the yoga god, Janice. Guys, like, we came on the show, we were chopping it up about yoga and how Janice just contorts her bodies in incredible ways. She came on the show after she was doing this incredible routine at the Chamber of Cannabis event. There was this awesome Chamber of Cannabis event at this amazing pool at this hotel, and basically Janice and her friend was making her levitate and contort her body, and just like she was performing magic at this chamber event. I'm like, please come explain to me how this happens. And she comes over, she comes to Wake and Bake with me, and then she makes me the one that contorts in midair, and I roll a joint while she is holding me in a yoga pose in midair. Like, I am nothing touching the ground, no chair. It's human contact using her feet and hands, and I'm up there rolling a joint. And then I pass my joint to my rolling desk. If you guys haven't seen this video, like my rolling chair, the spot in which I'm rolling, I'm passing the joint to her. That maybe has never happened. And I legitimately, like, awe-stricken at her abilities. One of the most athletically talented, probably the most athletically talented guest on the history of the Wake and Bake. Janice Shania, I mean, just an absolute talent beast. And I loved having her on the show. The very next one is my oldest friend that has ever been on the show. My oldest friend from back in elementary school, Megan McEldowney. The beautiful, the incredibly positive and energetic Megan. You, like, truly made this unbelievable reel. Like, you came on the show in Florida, and we made an absolute banger of an episode, just as we expected. We have been friends for as long as I can basically remember, smoking weed together for a decade, and the better part of a decade, and just, it was really, really awesome to be able to share a Wake and Bake with you. And I hope you're having a ton of fun in Alaska right now with your man Bryce, and Huge shout out Megan McEldowney for rolling through the show. Definitely a cannabis industry professional, influencer, and just super knowledgeable for sure. And the 25th guest, my latest and greatest guest on the Weekday Wake and Bake, my own grandmother, my co-partner that brought me cross country in what we like to call the joint highway journey, Roz Sky. I mean, I got to have a couple amazing episodes with my grandmother when I was in Pennsylvania for a visit, and I don't think I have had any more of a good time. Like, I've been so tight with my gram. I don't know how many people could drive cross country with their grandma and legitimately have a classic hoot of a time. But we were just session in the car. We had an amazing session to ride and 2 amazing Wake and Bake episodes when I was in Pennsylvania visiting her. It was so amazing to have my gram on the show, the OG Grammy, and the 25th amazing guest to come on the Weekday Wake and Bake. It is just so humbling to have had such a deep, deep list of legitimately elite individuals, cannabis industry professionals, family members, great friends come on the show. This has been an amazing project, the Weekday Wake and Bake. It has been amazing to be able to share this with you guys. I've absolutely loved having the opportunity to wake and bake with you guys, and I will absolutely miss it so bad because the bad news today is... Psych! There's no fucking bad news. Get the fuck out of here. The Weekday Wake and Bake is going nowhere. It's Fuck Yeah Friday, and we will be back with another jam-packed week of Weekday Wake and Bakes for another week. We gotta keep having the elite individuals come through. Most of these people are going to be coming back on the show. I will plead and beg as much as I have to because just the raw power and talent on that list is absolutely incredible. But I absolutely love you guys, Roll Gang. Huge shout out to everybody tuning in to this major shout out, a classic episode, probably my favorite episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, dedicated to all of the guests that have come on the show. But at the end of the day, the Roll Gangers tuning in to the show live right now, I have infinite amount of love for you guys. I love popping on here and having my morning Wake and Bake with you guys. It's Stoner Lotta Wake and Bake. So if I'm going to wake and bake every single day, every weekday anyway, might as well have some consistency to it and post it online. So huge shout out everybody who tuned in. LOL, what a twist from Quality Vegas Bud. Yeah, I had to do it to you, my man. Had to do it to you, Roll Gang. But cheers to everybody who tuned in. I absolutely love every single one of you. I'm going to go finish the rest of this pearl that I rolled up and enjoy my weekend. You guys do too. We're just trucking through these weeks, through these Weekday Wake and Bakes, Roll Gang. You guys know where to find me for Motivational Monday next week, 8 a.m. Pacific time, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday. The Processor Sky and the Roll Gang. To the fucking death. Let's go. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you Monday morning. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Such a fun Fuck Yeah Friday. Shout out everybody who has come on the show, all 25 elite individuals. So much love to you. This show is truly dedicated to you and the Roll Gang members. So shout out to everybody tuning in. Peace and love. Have a fabulous weekend, Roll Gang. I'll see you on Monday.